Good morning, everybody. Lucy, I'm sure will hop on any minute because I had just spoke to her not too long ago. She was headed into the office. She may be in there already. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm still tired from ASD. I am so exhausted. It was long, long days. I was leaving my house around um 8:30 in the morning and not getting home until 7:30 at night. So I still look tired. I feel tired, but it was great. It was so great. I'm not sure what my favorite parts of ASD are, um, but we're going to cover those today. And when Lucy hops on, we'll definitely talk about those together. We're also going to be talking about there was a warehouse recently that I believe caught on fire. It was damaged from the storm. Lucy had sent me an article about that. And sometimes when this happens with these warehouses burning down or if they're damaged by a storm, how do you know if you had inventory there? How do you know how to find that inventory? And we're going to show you how to pull that report and how to find the acronyms for the warehouses. So if you know that way, you can find out if you have inventory actually located at that warehouse. As far as ASD goes, we had meetups every day at lunch, and that's always so fun to get to know everybody. And Nate, I see you there in the chat over here on the side, and we did miss you and Elizabeth so much. I think I had a message from you on the first day. I don't even remember because it was just a whirlwind of constant talking to people, walking the showroom floor. It's so much. I do want to share with you guys. You know how you get little freebies when you walk through these trade shows? These are two of my favorite freebies just because they were fun. This one looks like a roll of money in a rubber band, and it's actually a little stress squeezy toy. And this is from, these companies that try to promote their brand. They give you these little giveaways. And then the other one I thought was so cute. It's like a dollar bill or $100 bill from that company called Payability. It's this little plush guy. So look, I'm manifesting money over here. So I thought these would be great little icons to sit on my desk. My two little roll of hundreds and my little Payability plush $100 bills. So I thought those were really cute. Those are fun. And let's see. So Nate and Elizabeth, you guys were, of course, are here like me and weren't able to make it. And William, I see you in the chat. Good morning. And I don't know if you were somebody that was at ASD but didn't get a chance to meet up with us. I'm going to check my phone just in case Lucy has messaged. Just because, I know sometimes she has issues with her internet out there. Yeah. You like that roll. Look, I wish it was real and it looks real. Like from a distance, it looks like a real rubber banded stack of money, but it just says stress reliever thing, which Amazon can be stressful. So I'm trying hard not to jump in too far without Lucy. So I will share some of my favorite takeaways from ASD. One of my goals is every time I go to ASD, I have my vendors that I've built relationship with over the years. And so I always set out to go to those booths first. Some of them, it's because they are more of a closeout vendor booth. And for the vendors that I buy closeouts from, they only have so much. So if you don't go there first, some of the items that you maybe have wanted, they're gone. Right. So my plan of attack when I go to the trade show is to hit closeout vendors that I already buy from first. So I can make sure that I am able to get some of the things that I want. And then there's the vendors that I'm not worried about them selling out, but I regularly buy from them. They may have show specials. And so I want to hit those vendors first. Now, for those of you that did not go to ASD, but you maybe do have suppliers that are at that show, or you're looking at the ASD trade show website and found a supplier, look, email them. You could say, hey, I met you at the ASD trade show, but I couldn't get an appointment. Is there any way that I can get show special pricing, and most of them are going to say yes. So do that. If you didn't go to ASD, look through the website. If you find a supplier that you want to buy from, they don't know that you weren't at ASD. It's a white lie. I don't think it's a big deal of a lie. And ask them if you can get show special pricing. And you can make an order from home with those vendors. Another thing is at ASD, there was also a lot of these companies, right? Like the payability. So we did walk down just one day real quickly just to see who was there and if it was anybody we thought we might want to interview for the show. And there was only one company that sounded pretty good to me. And they ran a service. I'm sure it cost money. How much? I have no idea. But it was helping you manage your replens. And what I liked about it is they said that their software, of course, it monitors your account. And the way I manage my replens is in Amazon next to the items that is in your inventory. You can select, it's this little at the end of the tab where you would edit your listing. In the drop down menu there, you can choose to have an inventory alert reminder when your inventory falls below a certain threshold. And so you can choose lead time, like I want to know 2 weeks before, or you can set a number of units. And that's what I do because I know about how much I sell through a month. So you might say, when I get down to 10 units, send me a reminder. And so I use Amazon for that. And it's free, right? It just sends you an email saying that your inventory has fallen below that threshold. But what this company software did is it analyzes the time frame in which it sold out. So sometimes, we get to zero of a quantity of something and we don't even realize it went to zero or how long ago it did. Well, this software manages how quickly your stuff is turning over. So not only does it manage your replens, but it tells you how many you should order based on how quickly your unit sold out. And so I thought that was kind of interesting. I got to put on my glasses here to read the comments. I reached out to a few of you guys, showed MOQs are high, but we will see. Oh, you reached out to a few of the vendors, is what I'm guessing you mean, but their MOQs were high. Yeah, some of the vendors, their MOQs are high, but look, I found a ton of them that their MOQs were like $200. So um, I think some of the vendors, they could be their opening order sometimes is high. So there is a vendor that I deal with. Their minimum opening order now is $2,000. And I was shocked by that. But that's the first one. So keep in mind, and you may want to reach out to some of these vendors again. If the ones you reached out to and their MOQs were high, sometimes that original opening order is very high. But when you make reorders from them, it drops down substantially. It can, like one of my vendors, their opening order is high, but reorders forevermore is only $500. So I think the reason some of them are doing this is they're wanting to make sure that you're a serious seller and that you're not using them to just get ungated. Because this is what some of the vendors were telling us, is that the reason why they were having such high opening orders is because a lot of resellers are coming to them because they sell branded things and they're looking to get ungated. So they are buying just enough to get ungated, and then they're either wanting to return these items or they're not coming back for repeat business. And so they don't want to have these nickel and dime buyers. They are looking for serious Amazon resellers. Up here comes Lucy. Good morning.
You should have messaged me. I
I
totally
did. I
thought I was
messaged you a couple of times.
no, on the phone. You know I don't
I,
check Facebook.
oh, Messenger. Yeah, I messaged you on Messenger.
I thought I had another 45 minutes. I'm like, "Oh, I'm so early. Why is she messaging me?" Totally messed up. I've been off. Let me keep drinking my coffee here.
Yeah, Lucy and I both overslept a bit this morning. I was telling them how tired I still am from ASD. I didn't jump in too deep of what we were going to talk about because I was waiting for you to hop on. I was just recapping just some of the things. Right now, my current topic of conversation was how some of the vendors had a very high opening order, like the one vendor that we deal with quite often now has a $2,000 minimum opening order, but thereafter you don't have to have it that high every time you reorder.
Yeah.
And that's where I left off.
Yeah. So good morning, William. Nate, I'm mad at you. I wanted to see you guys, and then you didn't show up, and I'm sorry you had a headache, but I'm still upset. MOQs being high, yep. Sad that sellers are like that. I find I may not have enough inventory that works, so it's balanced. There was a lot of places that were 100 to 200 MOQ. So keep looking around, and if you are trying to do UPC to UPC on Amazon, don't do it that way. Do keyword search. And also like the vendor name. If the vendor's name's, I don't know, Lucy's Emporium, go to Amazon and look for Lucy's Emporium and see what's on there. Because a lot of times vendor names will be linked to store names and things like that.
And I shared my dollar bills that we got.
Oh, my husband
They were
loved
my
that.
few favorite takeaways. It's like they're going to be on my desk as
Did you wear your necklace?
no. I
What?
have I look, I rolled out of bed and look, y'all are lucky I put on some lipstick so I don't look completely dead. We are
Tina and
not
I,
advanced
we
to
got matching.
necklaces today.
Yeah, we got matching cheapo necklaces at the Dewberries. So it was fun.
Yes, they were our dollar bill necklaces. Mine is still in the bag.
All right, so we're talking about the warehouse is going down, right?
I have not jumped into that because I was waiting for you to be able to
Jump,
get
girl,
on
jump.
here. What warehouse was it though? That is what I
Uh,
did not remember,
I
but I
think it
did
was.
not have my deal open to check that.
I had it open. I was looking at it. Okay. Our records indicate that you have inventory at or on the way to AF1 Fulfillment Center on December 13th. Severe weather caused structural damage to the facility, and we were forced to close. We expect to remain closed until the end of April. We understand this affected your business and will work to provide the most up to date. Below is important information. We will refund the storage fees. Woohoo! Shipments already sent will continue to be redirected. Inventory is being redirected, and IPI score is being affected by this closure. We will ensure the capacity limit is not negatively affected. So it was a long email. If you've created shipments to AFW1 but have not sent them in, go fix that. You can't do that. And then on the boards last night, somebody said in order to see where your inventory was, they went to reports, fulfillment, inventory ledger. So I'm going to try that right now, and then I can bring up this too.
And while you're looking that up, I'm curious, that email that you just read, did Amazon send that to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so see, I never got that email.
Maybe you don't
So
have
I
any.
didn't realize that Amazon is actually notifying sellers that had inventory in those warehouses. So that's good to know. I just thought it was up to us that we found out an inventory is, or a warehouse is now damaged either by fire or storms. And it's up to us to figure out if we had inventory there. So that's nice to know that Amazon is, in fact, letting us know.
I'm finding my report.
Yeah, and I must have not had inventory there because I did not get any such email. And for those of you watching, did any of you get an email or have you ever gotten an email from Amazon letting you know that you had inventory at a damaged warehouse? Because that's interesting to me. I have not ever received that before, with the exception of last year during Q4. I had sent in case packs of a single ASIN, and they sent it to that new warehouse that was being opened up in Texas. And since that warehouse wasn't yet functioning, they were only filling it. They were getting that warehouse nice and filled with everybody's inventory, and it never went for sale until after Q4 was over. So I had this inventory sitting there, I think from like late September or October, and it was never made live until the following year. And I want to say maybe in February or March. And it shocked me that Amazon would have sent my inventory to that warehouse because my item was a food item with an expiration date. So you would think that they wouldn't put it at a warehouse that they did not expect to even be open yet.
Okay, so it looks like if you do go to reports, fulfillment, inventory ledger, this you can get the report this way. And so I just typed in AFW1. I did the last 90 days. Would it be the last 90 days? What are we on? We're in March. So yeah, probably last 90 days. And then pulled, and it looks like I've got 8 pages of stuff. So it was very long though. Like, you know how they take the title and they squish it so it goes all the way down.
Yeah.
Anyhow, go take a look at that. You can pull it from there. I believe you can pull it from the same spot as well. Let me go back over and look at it physically. If you go to the inventory tab on the left, I want to say Amazon fulfilled inventory or FBA inventory will also get you CVS reports that you can download. So figure out your report, figure out what you need to download. I don't know if there's really anything we can do because they said they're going to divert stuff. So there's not really a whole lot of action you can do. But if you're curious, you can go do that.
You know, sometimes I am curious where my inventory is located at anyway, you know, especially when, let's say, you're not getting the buy box.
Mhm.
Let's say you're on a listing with just a couple other sellers and someone is dominating the buy box. You know, could it be because they're advertising more than you? Could it be because their inventory is located at a warehouse closer to where most people are buying the items at? I'm always trying to deep dive and figure out the ins and outs of Amazon and the formulas for why the things are the way they are. I know sometimes, like for instance, you and I, listings that we are on, if I look at the listing from my house, you own the buy box, right? Because maybe your inventory is placed closer to me, but maybe somebody else is looking at the item I have for sale in Florida and I have the buy box because maybe Amazon has my inventory located there. And there are items that I sell that always go to the East Coast. That I rarely get West Coast sellers. Almost all of that inventory goes to an East Coast buyer.
This was on the news this morning, right? 12 hours ago.
Yes.
And I'm not playing the sound. Let's see if I can make it bigger. This is a tornado. I think it was a tornado, they said, ripped through. And they just ripped the roof off of this.
And there were, I think, 6 employees that died at this Amazon warehouse. It was quite tragic.
This is 2 different things.
Oh,
This
okay.
was this morning.
Okay.
So there's a huge storm going on. Yeah, that's where it started. Hold on, go back. There we go. Yeah. So it's just terrible.
Yeah.
How do I get smaller? Oh my gosh. Okay, sometimes.
But there is another warehouse that had damage with deaths, right? Yes.
Yes, I'm pulling that back up. Okay. So this was Storm Bulk Springs. Where's Bulk Springs? Any ideas?
I don't know.
I want to say Texas, but I'd have to. Where are we at? Delta County, Hopkins. I don't know. This one was December 9th, 2022. So that was probably the AWF warehouse where 6 died from a storm. And I think this might have been tornado. One of them was tornadoes. You know what? How about I just put these in the, did you put them in the description or anything?
Those I did not. No, because I was also running I was also running late getting our StreamYard live set up. So I did the best I could because we were running late this morning. We both overslept. We're both recovering, and of course Lucy even more so because she had to still fly back home from Las Vegas from ASD. So she had a day of travel there as well. So we are still recovering. It is exhausting ASD, but it's a good exhaustion, right? It's so exciting, ASD. And I was telling everybody at the beginning of this video how I started my day at 8:30 in the morning, leaving to come pick you up and not getting home until 7:30 at night. I mean, they were almost 12-hour days of constant stuff, right?
Yeah.
Conversations, vendors, walking, eating. I mean, but it's great.
Yeah. It's a lot of information in a short amount of time. But it was really good. I mean, we made 2 good new contacts. We did some orders with our existing people. and met a lot of great people, except for Nate and Elizabeth weren't there. Other than that, it was awesome meeting everybody else and
Yes,
hanging
it's a
out.
lot of the same faces and then new faces. I felt like there was a bigger turnout of those of you that we know through YouTube and our Facebook groups that showed up, and some new people that requested to join our Facebook group that were invited by current friends in our group. So it was really fun to get to meet people. I think gosh, I'm trying to think how many new friends I made at this ASD show. One thing that I didn't take the time to do, and I always want to, is there are free classes at ASD that are great to sit in and listen on. Now, there are some that are just basically a live infomercial. One of the classes I did not attend, but one of the members of our group did attend, they had a live on using Chat GPT for our Amazon businesses and how to actually use it, the prompts to actually give it. And so she's not feeling well, the girl that was sharing all of that information with me. And she recorded 40 minutes of this lecture. And she did share with me like a little recap. So I was thinking of inviting her to come on our live and actually share with us how to really effectively use the Chat GPT to help us. One of the tidbits I can give you is she said that, and this was, I think, was from that Amazon lawyer guy. I think it was his live class that he was sharing this. How you tell Chat GPT what it is or who it is. So you would tell it, you are acting as a trademark attorney, and I want you to write. And you tell it what you want it to write about it, say a trademark document, and then you ask ChatGPT, do you understand, your role or who you are? And so I thought that was interesting because I've never tried that angle with ChatGPT telling it who it is, what its role was. And so I thought that was a very interesting take. And of course I came home and played with it, and it was not bad.
What are you telling it is, Tina?
I
You're the
practiced
plumber
telling it
coming.
that it was an attorney that
Mhm.
is writing for me a letter of appeal, and I made up some, a fictitious appeal. I think I used it for expiration date, that I sold an expired item, and that in fact this was not true, and it wrote a great appeal letter, really great. So
Nice.
yeah. But I told it what kind of an attorney it was, and it wrote me a great letter of appeal for Amazon. Now, thankfully I'm not fighting that type of a claim right now, but if I was, look, these appeal writers have been making good money for a long time, and certainly, I'm not in the business of putting them out of business. However, it was just as
I
good of
am.
a letter as it was just as good of a letter as I have had some of those services write for me in the past when I could not win an appeal. So I'm sure a lot of people out there are afraid that this Chat GPT are going to put them out of a job. Now, most of the feedback I get from it in the past, there are things you have to rewrite and reword. It's, only as good as it learns.
All right. Okay, I'm trying to bring this up here. Okay, so this is the West Hall, folks. This is how much we walked. We walked this for 2.5 days.
Yes. And
That's
that's
how
only one of the halls.
that's one of the halls. There's still the south. We went to the CBD area. There was not very many freebies, unfortunately. Lot of vape. Lot of vape. I mean, I would say vape dominated the
Yeah.
the smoke area. And then where else? Oh, clothing and cash and carry. And we didn't really hang out in clothing. We
We
kind of
never
just did
once
that.
made it to clothing. I think we would have went the last day, but Lucy and I truly were exhausted from our very long days. And we decided, and it was the day you were flying home. And so we decided just to do some work together. Um, at your mom's, and it was very, very rainy the very last day here, and we even had some snow flurries at my house. This year, ASD, the weather was really crappy compared to years past. So for those that came out here, it wasn't really fun because it was so windy. It was very cloudy. We had rain. For us locals, it's a treat, but if you were here traveling, not so fun.
So I just brought up one wholesale opportunity. This is Deluxe Import Trading. I have not ever bought from these guys, but we
Me
walked
either.
past them a couple of times. And these are the type of places that it's like, I don't really see anything jumping out at me, but I want to keep it in the back of my mind for just different things. They have some licensed products, they have some accessories. So like this hat, that screams Easter hat. So if we were going to do a bundle and I wanted to get an Easter hat to go in said bundle, could be an option. So feel free to sign up for any of these. I don't know what the MOQ is. A lot of times they will say that somewhere in their thing. I don't
A lot of
see.
times it's at the bottom of the website is where you would sign up to get your wholesale account. And sometimes it tells you down there, yeah, in those little question areas. And for those of you that didn't go to ASD, I mean, feel free to go to the site and, scroll through the different suppliers there. You can organize it by food, by toys, whatever. I will
There's
say
no
that,
MOQ.
okay, well, there
No
you go.
MOQ. So
There you go. I will say that on the CBD floor, which they mostly sell things like, bongs and vapes and rolling papers and stuff, like things that I don't sell, but it's still always worth a walk through the sections you don't go, because there was a vendor there, excuse me, that had novelty funny gag gift items that are found in Spencer's. And so, some of them were probably a little too sexually orientated to be able to sell on Amazon. I'm not sure, but they did have, a lot of the fun novelty stuff that you would be able to buy at a Spencer's gift shop. And that is one of their clients. And I want to say at a minimum opening order of like $100. I don't remember the name of that vendor, but that booth was
got
quite
it.
funny. Yeah.
Yes. And so with those things, one, Tina and I, we did a lot of like, hey, we don't know the answer to this. Tina and I, we've been selling collectively for what, like 8 years and 8 years, so over 16 years of selling on Amazon. And I'm going to Tina, I go, well, if we did a bachelorette themed bundle, what are the regulations? Because I do know some regulations on how to pack items of the provocative nature on Amazon. And I don't think we can go into that live here, but maybe that will be maybe we'll give warning on that one for other things. So I'm going, well, I don't know what the regulations are. I don't know what keywords we can use and what keywords we can't use. We do have a list of words that are definitely flagged and stay away from. I have that file somewhere so we can look up that and see what's flagged and what's not flagged. And we also don't know how many bundles are, what the market is out there. So we have a lot of on our homework list, research
Yeah,
this.
things that we find, yeah, that we want to research, like, are there existing bundles like this, or can we sell this? I will say that I have sold items that have swear words in them, and I have
Mhm.
listed those swear words in my bullet points. So, and in the image, those swear words show. However, Amazon does not let you make an advertising campaign for the listing that has what they call like adult content, or I don't know if the word is foul language, but it has
I think it's
something
adult content.
to yes. So and then you can, I mean, look, the sexual and wellness category in Amazon is a great category to be able to sell in. And, that's something that we've never talked about online. And I think it's because of the nature of the topic. But look, there's a huge audience there. It's always going to be selling.
And there's a lot of things that are around the cusp of it. You've got anniversaries, you've got Valentine's Day, you've got, like I said, bachelorette parties, and then the new one, divorce parties. I mean,
Yeah.
how fun can you get with that? But there was things kind of like pin the tail on the donkey and birthday cake designs that would go a direction that's not
In
typical
the
in
adult
nature.
nature,
In
right.
the adult nature. Same with curse words. Now, most of the time when I see curse words on Amazon, they have a star over said word that they want to flag out. And Amazon's curse words might be a little bit different than mine and different than my mother's. My mother, she doesn't even like to say the word damn. Damn is a bad word. If we got caught saying that word in the house, that would be a no-no. But darn was okay. That darn tootin' thing was okie dokie to say. So, like YouTube, I can say crap on YouTube and they don't care. But you say some other words, and to me, crap has always been a bad word. So I don't know. Everybody has their own take on which words are bad and which words are okay. And same with images. What is provocative and what's not provocative can be different for each person. But we saw a lot of good things like that. Some of the other ones that are like that are the CBD world. Like, you can't use the word CBD on Amazon, but there are other related things to that field of nature that go along with it.
You could say
Yeah, you
hemp,
can say
but
hemp.
not CBD, which is odd to me that Amazon doesn't allow CBD because it's not a drug. It's not a mind altering thing. So I feel like maybe one of these days that may change with Amazon, especially as that industry is getting more and more regulated, or becoming legal, right? In this state, it's legal, dispensaries, and in a lot of states, it is legal. And I mean, like someone without a card that has approval from a doctor, if I just want to walk into a store, I can go buy these things, right? And then that also boils down to, I suppose, if as talking as reselling, some people have morals or beliefs that they would never sell those things, and that's okay too.
Right. And Tina and I, we wouldn't be selling the actual product, but there's a lot of things surrounding that product that I'm going, I don't know what the regulations are. I need to look them up, because there are grinders and bongs and pipes and papers and things of that nature that I don't know if it's a viable industry or not. So it's something that we're going to be looking into. And the third one that we were kind of toying around with is just weapons and knives.
Lucy loves knives.
I do. I love me a good
She had
weapon.
to stop by all the knife booths, and I felt like, I was with my husband.
Knives are not gender specific, Tina.
They are not. They are not. Look, Lucy's father was in the police force, so she grew up with those things. Now, I liked, the tasers that looked like they were a lipstick.
Tina's going to taser you. I'm going to knife you. No, but there was a lot of things there that also, you get thinking of where could this also play into, and how could it play into things, because frankly, safety is not going to ever go away, right?
No, and especially for girl, well, for
Mhm.
everybody. But being a girl, growing up as girls, we have different experiences than males have, as far as feeling more frightened or walking alone to our cars. Just things of that, and things happen in big cities and small towns, and we could get political here, but the way the world has been changing, safety is a concern for a lot of people. So I do see a really viable industry there in selling self-defense things to keep yourself safe, or at least make you feel that you are safe.
Now, back in the day, I had sold some self-defense things. They were kind of the knuckle things that had points on them for women that you could put in your purse. And that got reflagged as something on Amazon. So that's why I need to go down and research, like,
Like as a weapon.
what does Amazon define as a weapon?
Yeah.
But also, there were things in any of these booths that you could then pair up with you could go a different direction with it. We saw handcuffs, and our mind didn't go to self-defense. So,
Especially when they were pink and purple.
yeah, there was pink and purple handcuffs, and I'm like, oh, those would be fun with a different direction, not what, not the safety and self-defense direction. So you got to kind of keep thinking out of the box with all of those things. You might see, let's say, a fake potted plant. Okay, I see that as a bundle to go into an office decor for a new job person. That's how I see that. Is okay, if you are getting a new office set up and you want a little fake plant, what could that go with to then target an audience that is looking for a desk decoration type of kit that may be earth related or some sort of relation to chakras or good luck or anything like that. I mean, we just had Chinese New Year, so I have a lot of good luck stuff on my brain. And what is it? It's the year of the rabbit. So, just kind of training your mind to think at things a little bit
Yeah.
differently. You may see like a sock vendor. Well, selling socks 1-for-1 on Amazon's flooded. You can buy any sock for anything anywhere now. It seems like the novelty socks are done, did, gone. That market is capped, but they might be good with other stuff. So,
And I do want to mention when we did a walkthrough of a
mhm,
booth. One of the booths I filmed a couple I think live on our main Facebook group, but I took with you a couple of our Facebook group members that met with us at lunch. After lunch, we walked a booth together,
mhm,
and because they had questions, they were newer on one going to a trade show, and two they're also part of our bundles group. So they're also newer to making bundles and just had that, like, I don't get it. Like, what do you buy? And I've been there. And so I felt like I knew how to speak their language. And so I walked through a booth with them. And one of the questions she had asked, which I thought was a very good one, is, when you're walking through the booth and you're scanning things and you see that you're not profiting, it sells good, but there's no profit in these prices of the stuff that I'm getting at ASD. And I tell them I don't even care if there's profit when I'm looking in these booths, if it is items that I'm actually scanning, because I don't plan on scanning this thing at this booth and selling it on that listing that could very well be flooded. Everybody else here at ASD can scan and see the same thing. What I do is I say, well, this item that they has sells well. This item over here that is complementary that they have sells well. So I'm already thinking of all of these things at this booth that sells well, or there are comparable listings that sell well. How can I put them together to create my own listing? Like, and likewise, then there are booths that sell branded toys, right? And there's big booths in there that sell branded toys. And we know this show is flooded with other Amazon sellers going through this same booth because it does have name brand things. What I'm doing is I'm looking at what characters are popular at these vendors, because they have buyers that specialize in predicting what is going to be popular. Same like Targets and Walmarts. When you go down the toy aisles, you can use the same mindset. What is the new movies coming out? What are the new toys that I'm seeing on these shelves that I haven't seen before? And a lot of times I do my research that way, be it at ASD or be it at Walmart. I will go down that toy aisle and I am scanning the new toys, the latest, whatever the movie is, be it Black Panther and Kanto, Spider-Man, whatever it is. I'm scanning those toys. They may have great rank selling like hotcakes, but I would lose like $2, right? And you feel like, how are people buying stuff to resell? I don't get it. Well, it lets me know what characters are popular, right? If Black Panther is selling like hotcakes and Spider-Man is now kind of tanking, I know that I'm going to be more honed in to Black Panther, and I'm going to be trying to find listings for Black Panther that are popular, or finding things that I can bundle to make a bundle listing for Black Panther or about Black Panther. So that is something that gave her an aha moment.
yes. And speaking of coming out, the new Tinkerbell was released, the preview or something about it. So we've
Hmm.
got Tinkerbell in the works, and Ariel comes out soon. I did not see a single thing for the new Ariel at any booth. So I'm just
Yeah.
watching for that. My suggestion is, if you were there or if you're thinking about going through and trolling through these things, is go ahead and sign up for the accounts for several reasons. One, sometimes they will cap how many people can sign up. So you don't ever want to be late to that boat. Two, you will start getting notifications of their catalogs, getting stuff in the mail. Not everything is brought to ASD. So you want to get that information. A lot of times they will send you their catalog in an Excel like format, and you can take that format and run it through Keepa. And then what was that other one? Scan Power?
I don't recall the other one, but there are different softwares out there that you can run buy lists through that have
Yep.
that have ASINs attached to them.
Hmm.
And again, even with those buy lists, it's still that same mentality. They may have a lot of great listings on that buy list that are on Amazon that rank really well, but sell really well, but you have just not enough profit in it. I can't tell you, and you guys have to be encountering these things as well when you're out scanning. You find the thing, it costs $5, but with after Amazon fees and everything, you're lucky if you make 50 cents or lose $1.25, right? So you take don't ignore those things because they sell good. So it's about packaging it different. It's about, can I create a listing for it, in a different way as a bundle pack, things like these are the things that we teach in bundles. So um, don't dismiss them. Don't dismiss them so quickly.
I found it. Scan Unlimited. Scan Power
Oh,
is
yes,
different.
Scan Unlimited.
I swear everybody names things kind of the same. I get so
Yeah.
confused because there's like Seller Bench, Seller Locker, Seller Board, Scan Power, Scan Unlimited. My brain
My
gets
husband feels
confused.
that way about the dollar stores. He's like, Dollar Tree,
Dollar.
99-cent store, Family Dollar. Like, I'm like, we've been going to these stores for years to get, like, I have no problem keeping this stuff straight, but it drives him nuts.
Well, yeah, because you have like 5 names that you got to keep straight too.
Shh.
So anyhow, I think you get a free one free a month or 2 free a month. I can't remember how much it is for. You can take your Excel list and run it through this. And you didn't give me that. Oh, Tina had a USB drive from one of them. One of them gave us a USB drive with all their
Oh,
inventory.
yes, it was very cool. It's a business card. It's the second time I've ever received one at an ASD. So the vendor, what they had is a business card. So it felt thicker, right? Because it would actually had the built-in thumb drive. So the business card, it pops out the little thumb drive so you can plug it in to your computer, and it is their Excel sheet of all of their inventory. And I thought that is so cool.
Yep, yep, yep.
And they were actually a factory in Mexico. So one of the things I was really looking for at ASD is the area called Source Direct. So if you go to the website of ASD and you look at vendors that were in Source Direct, that is for vendors that are outside of the USA. So they're essentially factories. They're going to custom make or private label items for you. Source Direct used to be a huge floor all by itself, but it has dwindled down so much since everything had been shut down and not having people flying. So now that area was down to, I think, like 3 rows, and it used to have its whole entire hall. It used to be a big section. Most of them there were Chinese, which is, of course, is not shocking, but they had Turkey represented there and a couple of other Asian countries like Taiwan and Korea. But there was only one vendor from Mexico, and I'm very interested in factories in Mexico. Um, they don't have websites. Most of them do not have websites. So they're very hard to find. You almost have to travel to Mexico to find them. They're in different parts of Mexico. It's not just in Tijuana or just in Mexico City. I think one is called Acala, Mexico. I can't recall the city, but there are various factories in Mexico, and their prices are very, very good. And Mexico is our neighbor. We don't have to worry about having things shipped overseas or flown overseas. And so our freight is also going to be less. And most of these Mexico factories, there are people there that speak English, and of course we live in such a bilingual state with so many people that speak Spanish. If you don't, you have a friend that speaks Spanish. And so I'm really interested in diving in and finding out more about factories in Mexico that can make us private label items. I don't know if any of you watching are interested in things like that, but that is one of the things that I have been researching and looking into. I will say that in my research, I found that in Tijuana, Johnson and Johnson, an American company, has a huge factory there. And there was another American company there. I told you at ASD, do you remember? Because I completely forgot. But
No, it was. I remember the Johnson and Johnson. I don't remember
the
anything
other, yeah.
else. But we need to we need to create a work business trip to Mexico for
Mexico.
like a
Look,
week.
I'm always down for a Mexico trip.
Yeah, yeah, I love Mexico. Okay, so I was poking around on this site. I wanted to bring up some things. This is air fryer paper holders, and I know that this product is kind of trending. It may be topped out right now, but air fryer liners have been a big thing because air fryers big. For the last couple of years, air fryers have been like the number one on any sort of Q4 list, top gifts to get somebody or not somebody or something, top wedding gifts, etc. So when you're seeing those top gifts, think of the accessories that go with them. Then you find a vendor that has said accessories, and you can make bundles or see if you can sell directly. Maria speaks Spanish. Y'all have us
Yes.
look
Look, see, we have a friend right here. Like, look, everybody
a
knows someone that speaks Spanish if you don't.
little bit.
I want to say something on air fryers. My husband told
Oh,
me that on the news recently that there was a big class action lawsuit for air fryers catching on fire. I
what?
don't know if it was a particular air fryer or just air fryers in general. Yeah. And we have an air fryer. In fact, give us a thumbs up if you have an air fryer because most of us do. So I could see how those liner papers would um, pay off. Because my guess, for those of you who have an air fryer, you'll understand it's got like the basket in it that is removable. It has those little vent holes, and crumbs fall between there and then that the base of the air fryer. And for those that maybe aren't cleaning it out well enough, I'm guessing that it's those crumbs in there that build up, that get hot, that ignite a fire. That's what I'm guessing. I don't know for sure. So I could see how the liners would prevent that because now you're disposing of all of the mess and crumbs and what have you in these liners.
So you can go to these websites, take this UPC code is probably for the entire display pack. And with this, you would have to buy the entire display pack with this company. It looks like display price $3. So I don't know. They might sell singles. They might sell it in display. That was a very good question that we were asking some of our vendors when they had displays.
Yeah,
Can we buy
yeah.
just this, or do we have to buy the whole display?
Yep, I remember that. So some of our vendors are like, yeah, you have to buy the whole display. And I mean, it came with the rack and everything. So that's great for the brick and mortar store customers they have. But for me, I maybe didn't mind all the things in the display, but I don't want or need that rack. And of course, it's going to come boxed that way. So, these things are going to be delivered on pallets. You have to pay for the weight of a pallet, the size of a pallet. So you're going to be paying for a lot of weight and stuff you don't need when you have to buy the displays as well.
This item right here, these little germ keys, again, might be flooded because we're kind of at the end of COVID. I hope we're at the end of COVID. My God, I'm done with COVID. Welcome back. Hi, Eli. But they are a 50-cent piece that could easily be added into back to school travel type of kits. Adding that just something extra into your.
Look, and I look at that even aside from a germ safety thing. What about girls with them long fingernails?
Yes, yes. Then I want to get into, they do have licensed stuff. So if you were needing licensed ball caps, this is where you need to go in with the keywords. You go to Amazon, you type in Mickey, what does this say? 90 years hat, and or do the image search on your phone. Take your phone, hit the little scan, hold it up to there, and see if it will come up on an image scan. So they've got licensed caps, they've got licensed tote bags, they've
Those
got
are good for birthday
Mhm.
party things too.
Yep,
The tote bags. And look, it could be a party thing, party prize,
kites. I hate
kites.
kites. I'm not ever doing kites again. Kites break. I did
And
kites for one time
the
and they
fees
just,
are high because they're so long.
I don't know. They're only $3, so they can't be that long. I don't know if it will tell you. Sometimes in the specs it will tell you.
Look, they have
No.
the UPCs right there. So this site, if you see an item you're interested in, you can copy and swipe the UPC code. However, things like this is just like when you get them at Dollar Tree. Every single one of those kites has that same UPC because they come
Mhm.
case packed, and that's the way the vendor does it. So if you're wanting to make listings with that, that's a whole nother show to do. But just keep in mind that UPC may be attached to one kite on something like this.
Yeah. So again, you would do the image scans and or keyword searches. And the problems with these, good and bad, is you're going to get what, like 6, 8 different ones, and maybe 6 sell really well, and the other 2 are duds. So have a plan for those 2 duds, whether it's birthday gifts or repurposing it or something like that. We've got some questions. Let me see if I'm
Yeah,
done with this. I got one
yeah,
more.
yeah.
These are not licensed. Stay away from stuff that looks like this. Here in an Alibaba, these princesses, while they do look like Disney princesses, you are skirting the edge of that licensing trademark stuff, and they look a little funky. They're a little funky looking. I don't buy that kind of stuff. All right, Tina, I am
Yeah,
curious.
so Ellie says, she says, I am curious what your clever answer is when the supplier has a commercial address requirement. I have only ever had one supplier want me to have a commercial address. So um, it, that tells me that if you're dealing with a supplier that wants you to have a commercial address, it is either one, a food item that they will not deliver to a home address, because that's what I ran into. Jelly Belly will not deliver to home addresses. Um, Otherwise, it sounds like it's a vendor that only allows brick and mortar stores to sell their items. There are some vendors that will not allow third party sellers. So that's just my guess. So, but if a vendor did say that to me, that we only allow a commercial address, I let them know that my business is ran, from my home address, and it is actually my registered business address. But I would probably need more details, or why they're requiring it. And again, I still think it boils down to that this is a vendor that will only sell to brick and mortar stores.
And that's fine. Sometimes you're just not going to get accounts and or products from there right now. Put that in the back burner, mark it on your sheet, whatever you got to do, and circle back. A lot of people changed their tune when COVID hit because they needed people to sell stuff online. And so the brick and mortars were shut down. So they opened up. And that's why I'm saying, if you have the opportunity to get in, because the rules change constantly.
Yeah.
Will they keep the vendor list up on the ASD website, or do I need to rush to review it? They keep it up until the next one is in August, right? So around June, July, it goes down for a little bit. It was down, I want to say around December. It was down for a few weeks, and then it went right back up with the new one. So while they're changing over things, it goes down for a bit. But you're good.
Yeah.
You're good for at least a month or 2.
Yeah.
You don't need to rush. Lately, it was unique for me. I don't know what that means. What is she talking about?
Unique is a party supply vendor,
Okay.
I believe. So if it was them, I can chat with you privately about that supplier. So reach out to me later in Messenger.
Then I kind of wanted to bring this up last because I just got an email from them, but we talked to these guys and then they might be on the show, right? Maybe.
Yes. Oh, yeah. At the beginning of today's show, I was talking about that we met some vendors, and this company was one of them that had the one software they had that I thought sounded interesting was of the inventory management, where they watched how quickly our items sold through and would let us know when it's time to reorder, how much we should reorder. And so I thought that software that they offered sounded interesting. And I know there's a cost to it, but what it is, I have no idea. I just remember that one sounded interesting because they had 6 different softwares, I believe.
Yeah, they've got stock related. They've got one that like we use to get reimbursements back. What was the one on your Moneyball? Because that one was 13% and we're at 25.
But I figured it's probably a do-it-yourself one.
Okay.
It's called EVA.guru. Even their name sounds a little bit sketchy to me. EVA.
EV is sketchy.
No, the .guru part.
Oh, .guru.
Yeah, I thought, I don't know. That seems a little suspicious, but I'll take your free money squeeze.
Yeah. Anyhow, we use a lot of 3 Colt products. 3 Colts has tactical arbitrage. It has
I think they have 10 softwares, and we are interviewing one of those next week on our live for anybody who thinks you want a refund management company that will do it all for you. We are interviewing the company I use next week. Lucy uses a different one. They're about the same because her experience with hers and mine, they're really the same. It's just pick one. But at least they can deep dive into some more details about it that maybe I don't even know that they have. But I've been using them for years.
And that is Seller Locker, right?
Yeah, and they also own Tactical Arbitrage. That company owns lots of softwares. I learned that from them when I had a meeting with their, I guess he's like an account manager. I'm not sure what his title was. Um, and in talking to him, I'm like, wow, you own this, like I didn't realize that they owned all of these softwares. And so my refund company also owns Tactical Arbitrage. So that I thought was interesting. The original man who owned Tactical Arbitrage was an Australian gentleman. I cannot recall his name. I had met him back when he still owned it. It was at an ASD show. A big group of Amazon reseller friends of mine, they had rented an Airbnb and we had a huge party over there. It was really fun. And he was there. I think his name was Alex.
Yeah, Three Colts is the other one. And so it's kind of interesting to see how these companies that support us are growing, what they're coming up with, sit down and talk to them and really explain, like, these are the problems that we have. How can you fix it? Just like inventory management. You've seen a lot of software pop up for inventory management, replens, velocity, etc. pop up because there's a need in the industry. So it's kind of fun to talk to them and see where they can go. But yeah, we pay for Tactical Arbitrage with our thing, and when you go into your account you can see all the different softwares that they own
Yeah.
and manage it there, so that's kind of fun. And we're not saying either of these is good or bad, but if you are starting to get into this world, you may want to try both and try two different things out, see which one's better, or you may want to stick all together and bundle, like
Yeah.
you try to do with some of your bills and things like that.
And before we sign off today, because our show is coming to an end, I did want to remember to let you all know that if any of you are interested in joining our members Bolo group, where everybody shares 3 bolos a week, we have some spots open there in that group, and our bundles group is growing and we're getting more content in there. We did take a break this week from that group, of course, with ASD, but we'll be diving back
No, we
in
shared
next week.
I shared ASD highlights.
Well, I did too, but I mean, as far as the teaching of bundled
Oh, well,
things, but yeah. um,
but we
Making
help
video.
people at the table too, so
We did. We
that
did.
was fun.
Anyway, our bundles group is slowly growing. The content is growing. So if you are interested in joining us there, please do so. And I think that was it.
It's been fun. This week alone, one or two got brand approved, which was great. Couple of G10 approvals gone through. So it's nice when people share their success stories and start to understand. You've got to understand the intricacies of Amazon. And then just deep diving, like I'm going to be doing one. I've been helping a gentleman out with pictures and photos and non-zoomable
Mm-hmm.
problems with photos, and now have a whole bit to put together on the DPI of your image and the size and how to fix it, etc. But it's very dry. But if you are needing to fix your zoomable image, it's like super important, but it's a very specific topic that we aren't doing on YouTube, because it's like, that's not, I don't know,
Yeah.
there's probably like 2 people that need that information.
Yeah.
But when I was researching it, it was really hard to find DPI regulation and DPI stuff on Google, because I don't know, it's just not out there. It's crazy.
Yeah. These are the interesting things we learn and we pass on in our bundles group. And I know I was able to help Ellie, who's here today watching us, um,
Yeah, Tina
fix
and I
the
have
back end.
great Tina and I, we have great talks. One is about how do we get this exotic content on Amazon, and the other is like, did you know about the DPI? It goes from one extreme to the other.
Yeah, yeah. So I was able to help Ellie fix some of the back end things on one of her listings, and then she had a sale right after, or at least a day later. I'm curious if you have had more sales since then, because I was looking for an update on that.
Ooh, that happened too. To me, I can't remember which listing it was, but I'll tell you about it later. But as soon as we modified a couple of keywords, I got a couple of sales. So I was like, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Sometimes you have to revisit what you think was a great job and you got to tweak it.
Yeah, you gotta keep changing things. Sometimes, I don't know, like things get stuck in like a hole and you gotta kind of help it get out.
Ah, she says yes. Yay.
Very good, very good. Okay, well, the only other thing I was gonna say is my St. Patty's Day sales have picked up. So if you're doing St. Patty's Day, great. Next one is Easter, right?
Yep, Easter's the next holiday.
Perfect.
And add those holiday things on top of your normal inventory and your normal replens because it's just like having the cherry on the top for sales. And with that, if you guys will please like our videos, subscribe to our channels if you are not already. I know currently nobody is watching on my YouTube, so I'm talking to your audience, but nonetheless,
All
please
right.
give us a like and a subscribe if you will, and it helps us on Amazon as we look forward to helping all of you.
Go subscribe to Tina's channel. We got to get her up to 1,000 so that she can start to monetize. Please, please.
Lucy's like, please help a girl out.
All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Yes, have a great weekend. Bye.